It is my great pleasure to introduce Mr. Ryan Durgans.
Friends, families, administrators, and members of the class of 2020. It's a true honor to be speaking to all of you on this day, a day I've been waiting for as long as I can remember. Although it's not quite the way I've always pictured it, it remains very special. Today we honor the accomplishments we've achieved as a class, a community, and as a family. Before I talk about how proud I am to be a part of this group of students, let me tell you my story and why I'm standing here before you. My name is Ryan Durgans. I grew up right here in Pleasantville and have always been supported by my loving friends and family. Only within the last few years did I begin to understand how fortunate I am to have had two things throughout my entire life: the feeling of safety and support. Never once did I ever feel unsafe walking through the streets of this town, and never once did I feel unloved by the people I surrounded myself with. As I grew older, I realized that not everyone's story matched up with mine. People here and people everywhere struggle every day with problems I can't begin to imagine. I am privileged, and the day I realized that simple truth was the day I dedicated the rest of my life to using my platform as a way to inspire instead of degrade, love instead of hate. So I worked really hard throughout high school, not just for good grades and not just to get into college. I worked to make an impact, and I've seen so many of you do the same, which is why I'm so proud to call you my friends and classmates. Whether you are an artist, a musician, an athlete, a writer, a scientist, I applaud you for using your talent as a way to inspire others. And might I mention that you don't have to take life so seriously to make an impact either. My freshman year, I created a mock interview show with my brother and recorded him as he paraded through the halls of school dressed as a horse, or as he put on a safari hat and pretended students were wild animals. We were being silly, but we had everyone's attention. And once you have that attention, communicating kindness and promoting change is that much easier. If growing up has taught me anything, it's that change is a beautiful thing. My fellow graduates, you've been changing alongside me for years and years. Getting older, discovering new viewpoints, new perspectives on the world. One thing that has shaped my perspective in recent years were my trips to West Virginia to help rebuild the homes of people living in poverty. It, again, opened my eyes to this idea of privilege, something many people turn a blind eye to. A few years ago at my worksite, the homeowner came outside to join my group for lunch. The project was far from being finished. She turned to look at her home covered in green insulation boards and said, "It's beautiful." But it wasn't beautiful. To me, not until I realized what she really saw. She wasn't looking at the home. Change was happening right in front of her for the first time in a long time. And that is what she found beautiful. All because she had the courage to ask for help. Right now, we're living through some crazy times. The year of our graduation is the same year as a global pandemic, as well as a movement for justice. Originally, I was saddened by the idea of giving my speech at a time like this and in this fashion. But the more I think about it, the more grateful I feel to have this platform so I can address everything that needs to be said in our current situation. Just like my homeowner did some years ago, people in our country are asking for help. Help to end something that should have ended long, long ago. Discrimination, based solely on the color of one's skin. An issue that is not political, but rather goes against basic human rights. I bring this up because we are a generation of change. We are older, we are educated, and we now have the power to make a difference. So I implore you all to make your own positive impact, whoever you may grow up to be. The artists and musicians, use your art and music to spread awareness. The athletes, use your leadership and persistence and apply it to social reform. The writers, use your words to call out injustice. The scientists and mathematicians, use your knowledge to progress our society and technology, and more importantly, communication. Anyone can be a part of this change. Never once did I feel unsafe walking through the streets of this town, but I know some people do, so I will walk with them. Never once did I feel unloved by the people I surrounded myself with, but some people do, so I will love them. I am privileged, but many people are discriminated against, so I will fight with them, and I hope you will too. I'm proud of this class for all of our accomplishments. Years of amazing musical productions, state championship wins, service trips, food drives, fundraisers, even a school walkout. But this is just the beginning for us. We may be going our separate ways soon, but we can take the things we've learned here in our tightly knit community, this small place we call Pleasantville, and show people a new perspective. So I'll repeat something I've been singing about in my ukulele songs for the past few years. Find the goodness in your heart and pick people up when they're down. Be grateful for what you have and help those who don't have as much. Find the beauty in change. Have faith. Keep growing. Don't hide who you really are deep down inside. Reminisce, but don't get too caught up in the past. After all, we must be the future. Thank you.